the player in support, and if he needed to fall away, there was always somebody holding behind him. It felt really, really strong in comparison to an Overpass cobbled together by a lot of other teams that I felt a little bit rushed watching, but I do like to see that might have some semblance of, I guess, maybe confidence going into this one if they're going to let that one float by.
Well, this is going to have to look like an entirely different team if we want to see something competitive here.
They got 13-1 last time we watched, right?
Right, that's the big problem. That's what's on the back of my mind right now. Like, I keep talking about how really the house always winning when it comes to might versus them, and the matter of fact is there's not a lot to go off of on this map that's good. Like, the last time they played this map was NRG. They haven't played it in the rest of the season. It's not looked amazing, but who's to say they don't put in some extra work in the offline? I really don't know. Like, I just don't know how vastly this team is going to improve, because you and I saw them a couple of different times this season. I believe we saw their opening game versus Mythic, where it kind of looked like the same static game plan. We saw their game against NRG, where it looked like the same static game plan. And then the very following week, or actually I think it was maybe the very following day, we saw the same thing against Limitless. And that's the problem here. Track record shows it's not going to change.
Well, match is going to be paused for just a second. Something I want to make note of, because I haven't gotten to cast Party Astronauts yet, is that Rush used to be a pretty decent demon on Overpass, to be honest, back in the day, when they used to run that on Optic and even into Cloud9. He was really one of the guys you would look at, primarily because of, obviously, as a spry young North American buck, as an aggressive rifler typically, he was able to take a lot of those duels, and that's where you're going to see the limelight shine on an individual, because right now Rush returning to Counter-Strike, having taken that little bit of a break from the performance coach perspective, he sees this new game breakdown, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see a new version of Rush in a game that I personally feel like, might sound like I'm talking out of my rear end, but favors his aim style as a peak individual.
Well, this is a lot of on paper, but now we need to see the in execution portion, where so far it's just Wolfie and Nifty going tit for tat, shot for shot, nobody connecting, but info given both ways. And Party Astronauts keep it calm. Nothing too sporadic, nothing crazy, just walking into what seems to be rather basic map control to take, nobody out long, and that's exactly where the bomb is going, so it's going to encourage this A-sided attack with a little bit of defensive utility, but not a ton.
Itty bitty bit. Time not exactly ticking down by any stretch, but I think Might are going to get a good idea of what's happening now. They can't really be too worried about a B-pop. I feel like it would have happened by this stage of the game, but a shot between the eyes to Nifty is going to be a pretty hard name to drop, because DJ's forced all the way to the jump up, nobody able to get back into it, and while they do have a flash, he's going to need his teammates to actually get somewhere, and as they do send one up through Con, one will join him soon, but will that flash even get the chance to send anybody into a favorable fight? Position they've known, now they can crunch him down. He doesn't really have anybody to bail him out, so he's gonna have to do it himself. Cannot, and Dance might have set them up for the retake 4v4.
Oh, and they know that both players are coming from the flank. Now, the fact is, even though that Sexy fell, he can tell them there's two players coming from Con. He knows. He heard one in short. He got killed by Dan's in the front of bathrooms. This should be all under wraps. An extra kill from Rush. And it looks like everything's in the green checkboxes for the Party Astronauts. Dan's, do as he may, it's not going to amass very much. Opening pistol goes the way of TA.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You might have seen it or heard it before I did, but I don't think they even got the flashbang off before the players were peeking through that CT smoke. There was a body already phasing through by the time that they had gotten it out, and he'd already died. It didn't really matter because they had already seen him. Wouldn't have done him any good, but even still, that little bit of a hiccup might come back to bite them in a major way, as they do force back, as is the CT side economy, a cruel mistress to where you kind of have no other option at stage in it, knowing that Party Astronauts can still be reset. That might give you the little bit of hope on a map like this, where the anti-eco conversions sometimes do get a little bit scuffed, I will say.
Especially with Deeg Demons on the other end of the coin, but Nifty doesn't seem to be one of them, at least for now. As an easy opener goes the way of Sexy. They'll continue their escapades up and on. And so far, Might don't seem to have any care in the world for constricting it. So, shouldn't be much more of a discussion in this round. Rotations aren't even coming through just yet. Obviously, there's plenty of time, but it almost kind of feels like they're hoping Party Astronauts are going to come back down B, though eventually they'll have to commit to one of these stacks, one way or the other, whether it's A or B. I don't think splitting up your defenses right now is going to give you any chance.
Probably not. Has to be a pretty decent toss of a body into the fire.
Oh my.
Okay, and DJ rears his head around that long corner, and 60 is no more. Great aim to take down the highest rated for the team, I believe, in the last 3 months. And as DJ does get another opportunity to peer, not long, but instead the front side of A claims the life of yet another through the wall, no less, and Ben Lee, he has to speed up the troops. He needs to get them into the action, and while the SG does get a momentary strike, it's the pistols that continue to deal the damage, and Snakes, already made known, found a kill, and on half HP needs to do a little bit more, and he's not able to take them both down. The double peak works out, and although things get hairy, it is going to be the conversion after all.
This is what I'm talking about, though. Party Astronauts in the middle of that chaotic situation. When that second headshot comes through from DJ, it's calm, it's cool, it's collected. They know what each other want to do when they go up and start pathing into the site. Spacing's a little awkward, but they still make sure all of their bases are covered. Yes, it does rely on them winning a couple of aim duels, but that's the best case situation you're going to put yourselves in. And Party Astronauts manage it very, very well. You said it, though. Anti-ecos can get messy, and that was far from clean.
Definitely. Those Deags, though, absolutely beautiful coming out from DJ. Man, with the Deagle in this round, though, is Dance, and you've seen him do some nasty things in games prior, and this angle is one that really betrays really betrays the T side in general on this map. It's not really one you're going to be looking out for, to be completely honest with you, and I want to see how it pans out, as Nifty does make known of the player down low. I doubt Chop goes any farther without anybody else by his side.
And that's the problem, right? Because now Chop is essentially going to get this data for free or not, just barely doesn't catch the head off the jump spot. Maybe some info soon to be gathered. No, he still didn't see it, so this is a lot of free real estate, though. They finally disassemble the boost and give it up. And in the meanwhile, it seems to be both not realize Sexy's gone into the A site. So, nice kill out of DJ, sure, but doesn't seem it'll have much effect on the round considering the bomb is already going down.
That was a little bit scary from Rush pulling that molly, and I think that there was really close to room to get that kill. AK picked right up off that body, and this round looks a little bit different, really, with that flash still up. 60 is allowed to get something done for his troubles, and popping through the smoke can get nothing for it. Snakes left as the last remaining. Slithering through Con. Nothing really to save. Utility, no gun. If you can get a kill, that's really going to be best case scenario for him. Might are going to be in with a full force purchase into the next, though, thanks to the management and the damage that they've dealt in these previous two. But Ben Lee, barely able to reset his accuracy in time, tears Snakes a new one. And although it might have just been against an unarmored pistol, either way, it's looking pretty clean right now in terms of that last round and how the pistol had unfolded.
I want to see something shift from Might here and from Might before. I want to see them get a little aggressive and try to take some map control away from the Party Astronauts. The opening few rounds in this game, sure, they've got a lot of asterisks surrounding them, but a consistency has been a lot of real estate for Might, or rather for Party Astronauts to hold. Connector, long, water, all nearly uncontested in almost every endeavor. I'd like to see that change. And I guess it kind of has, right? A quick spot of Connector, but DJ leaves it fairly fast. And again, feels very repetitive. Good spot out of Scar, spam, doesn't land home, but at least knows somebody's in Con. Nade nowhere to be found.
Some info's better than none.
True.
It's not gonna be
target on their backs.
It's not gonna be like a round exposing, but you know, it's good to know the proximity of that player and where they're looking. He was back turned, walking up through Con. You can assume that he has somebody holding on to short side. So,
sure.
60 now SMG. He can continue his scale up to the A toilets, not hearing anything, not spotting anything on his way through. The op is over at long, and the jump spot topside A. He might be locked out of the round at long if, and only if, they're able to sneak their way up through toilets without any contention. As it gets closer, though, Nifty does the same. He gets into the toilets, long side, shot in the side of the head, and Ben Lee with the best possible moment to strike. Puts down the big sniper, the big green, the one we spoke of in the pre-show that needed to do something about this one, finds himself still at 0 kills, and the A-bomb site is where they look to put their 4th round onto the board.
Seems dead in the water, man. The fact that they're both stuck in truck leaves them so limited in their possibilities, and that's why they get 2 for 2 traded. No multi-kill potential in sight. And the spacing is sublime for the Party Astronauts. Extra smoke for good measure around the dumpster, and with both the remaining defenders split up, Snakes, if you don't get a kill here in the next couple of seconds, this one's essentially going to be called a save. I think that's already the game plan, with any extra shifts being neglected, or maybe not. Snakes, a reason for contention, but then you realize there's no kits anywhere to be seen on the side of Might. Snakes is a very predictable asset in Connector right now. That's why you don't see Sexy peeking. But the matter of fact is, it is still a 4-0 lead for the Party Astronauts, and minus an op for Might. That's not an investment they'll get back.
Well, doesn't really get much better than that. You see in that round, it's a near perfect timing for Ben Lee to activate over at long. Silent, no flashbang to go along with it. It's just him trying to make a good advantage of the timing later into the round where the op might be caught off guard, might have pulled back to the site at that stage. It's a high-risk, high-reward play that does grant them not only the maneuver in to take out the sniper rifle, but them being so far pushed up towards one of the toilets means an A-side execute is going to be probably one of the easiest decisions they'll ever make in Counter-Strike as a T-side. When you know there's only one more player in that site at most, and you've dealt with the heaviest hitter, in terms of how much money that you've invested in them, it's a no-brainer. Taking control now up against the team with just 2 rifles, a couple of pistols, and not really a whole lot of utility, but the utility that they had is not going to be expended. Instead, Snake's blind is taken down, and the B site is looking soft, but definitely not left vacant.
I love the audacity of Sexy to just walk up and find that pick after so much liberty is given to him. But Party Astronauts aren't going to do anything off of it. Instead, they realize a 4-on-4 isn't exactly what they're looking for. So they reset the situation just a little bit, with still a player in water. This is something that they aren't entirely sure about. And it's not the fact that DJ is here with a gun, but it's the fact that he knows they weren't, though. Eventually, Ben Lee creeps back in and gives him what he was looking for, a fight. Though he doesn't come away victorious. Under a minute to go, and Party Astronauts are going to park it outside B.
Nice pick, though. Scar goes waltzing into the monster tunnel a little bit too wide for Wolfie's liking. Puts him down as a result. Puts him in his place. His Ben Lee looked like he was off the mark for a moment. Instead forces Dance right into his crosshair, right into the line of fire. And Nifty, doing all that he can get nothing. Flying out. Ben Lee will claim his triple kill, claim a 5th round. And now, with another buyback, Might, let's see something on this CT side start to mount up, because Party Astronauts is the team that has the most amount of wins on it. It's going to be an overpass shutout at this rate. A mercy rule needing to be put into effect if we continue to see plays like this from PA.
And with, again, the season starting to dwindle to a close, isn't exactly how you'd want to be going out. Obviously, we've seen other teams start their comeback hauls in a category somewhat worse than this. Oh, Nifty, though, is stuck in the open. Chop gets a free pick. Nobody's there to support him. Weren't ready for the speed nor the pace. Chop looking for a second as the head is given to him off of Snakes. And I don't think you want to be backing away if you're Dan's. He was eager to get this advantage back, but biting off way more than he can chew just by saying he's going to re-aggress. But Chop is ready. Not ready enough. Only damage is the nades looking to catch them on the retreat, doubling down on Scar. It's only a scratch, but still a 4-on-5 with extra chip on it.
Nobody actually directly in the A-bomb site yet. Eventually, they'll send somebody up towards Bank. They might have had a timing to where if 60 was a little bit more quick to it, he might have been able to hip-hop into that site, clear it out, and call it good. But now they've got a little bit more on their plate in terms of investigation to get through as the B-bomb site. They know there were 2 there. Spotted on that double swing from the fight at short side earlier on, and now might really just have a guessing game of their own to play. How many do they dedicate to that B-bomb site in the later stages? It's Dance, who's already relatively low, so it makes sense that he's got a teammate by his side going on the recon mission, though, dropping off the top of the railing. It'll be Rush to capitalize off the maneuverment? I tried putting 2 words together. Maneuverment. It's DJ only able to just stare into the utility as it burns and plumes in his eyes. Only hope to get away with this stage, because he's got a player already wrapping through the back. He knows that they're all tucking in on the site even still. Battling his way through this one. DJ has had a couple of good kills, but what more can we see from the man?
I mean, I'm not even surprised to see him attempt this, right? You gotta start putting numbers on the board, Wolfie.
Of course.
Another man stepped by, and Sexy, I don't think you're gonna commit to a swing just yet. Just a couple of jiggles, and a molly goes on top of him. That's the right there. You're not getting away with this gun. Look at Rush. So proactive in the way he dispatches of these saves.
As soon as he kills those 2 con players, makes no time. Heading right towards CT spawn, locking him in. No chance at any economy moving forwards now, and it's a tactical timeout as Nifty is seen buying the FAMAS, quickly selling it after the fact, and they are very between two minds about how they want to play this one out. They have no real clue about how to counteract what Party Astronauts are putting forwards. Putting in ideas, right? But ideas that don't really look a whole lot fleshed out, to be honest with you. You were saying it yourself, that con pick from Nifty left with no real help. They blow open the con door, the CT side, right? So should there have been a player walking through short tunnel, if there's no CTs actually aggressing on that position, Top gets that one for free, which he does, and continues his way forwards as they try and make up for the lost pieces, which does not look pretty any more so than Nifty's pick.
And this is kind of what I'm saying, right? It feels like Might just aren't clicking with one another. There's so many different ideas that could be really cool to see, or maybe even good ideas in general that could win them rounds, get them picks, put them in good situations, but they're all on different pages, right? Nifty's on chapter 1, Scar's on chapter 2.
It doesn't look rehearsed.
Right.
It's like trying to put together a play, and it's like the first day where everybody just got their script, but they're not really used to it yet. That's what it looks like.
Everybody's scared to go in off of their queue. Oh. First deep shot miss gives up the gamble of them making this a all-out brawl on the fountain push. Couple of kills? No, nothing in response just yet. In fact, no rebuttal at all. And Dan's assumed that this was their great ace in the hole, this 4-man fountain push. Maybe you get 1 or 2 kills, get a couple of guns, and make a chaotic round out of it, but no.
There's actually real potential for that to go extremely haywire. You see 6C is not only caught off guard, but blinded for a long time, no less. It's Ben Lee who has to just continue to swip back and forth, left and right, and find 3 of the 4 kills between the 2 of them. 6C's not even able to put a bullet into any of the players until he's unblinded, and Ben Lee's already cleaned up the crew. So again, a moment of weakness from Party Astronauts, still not able to find anything off of it. It's gonna feel like a real battle from here on out if you're not able to even collect onto one of those, and Dance is just sitting, having to wait out a 40-second bomb timer. The team better be talking in the dead chat right now, because something needs to change, and it needs to change now.
And look at again how that round plays out. It almost feels like they're on 2 separate audio cues again, where that flash comes in, right, as you said it, right, Bentley was fully blind. That had the
No, 6C was fully blind. 6C was fully blind.
6C was fully blind. Bentley was the one isolated, but the point is, you see the players from the bathroom side swing in together, and then the long players don't come in with them.
One by one after?
Trying to take with the fight, right? And that's the problem. It's
all
the
right.
lack of cohesion that seems like it's killing this team sometimes.
Terrorists.
All good.
Here,
Pre-game.
almost literally.
007. James Bond is among us.
Didn't have to do that to him.
I feel like it needs to be said. It's really not acceptable.
You're right.
To be completely honest with you. Coming from the captain and Opper, the strategies look a little bit mismatched in this game thus far in terms of the cohesion, the fallback, the protocol. Things set in place look decent in essence, in theory, but following the execution which you were speaking of earlier on, it hasn't really come together as a whole picture. Nifty now getting a chance at the top side of the fountain up against a solo rifle, playing on his lonesome Wolfie. He'll be able to do the same, but it's going to be a much tighter shot if anybody goes for the jump spot. Not the case just yet, but as things continue to develop, 3 players towards A, will they succeed? No, they'll just send Nifty back and he can regroup it long, and maybe, just maybe, they can gain enough information to be able to set piece their round off the back of a gamble.
I like this time it's a bit of a different approach, though, from Might. They've opted to be a little more aggressive with the way they're holding on to bathrooms, and I think that's a big step in the right direction. Not giving up this space for free. Kind of making them earn it just a little bit more. Even if it's so much as a jiggle like this. Nifty gets the information, doesn't need to stick around to commit. He can flash for himself, and he's even got a teammate here to help him. Dry as ever, and the smoke eventually blooms with damage on a Nifty. They'll call it a day. And in comes this Crossfire's potential success. Scar. Walking through the smoke, and you're right, Rush. Good answer back, and he's got potential for the kill on Nifty, too. Remember how low he was taken early on, but he's still the one trying to find a vacancy in the bathrooms. Kills go back and forth, but DJ, him being taken is a big loss to incur. Steps right into the lion's den. Sexy instead lets Nifty walk into him. Sights open for now as you've got a very spry Dams trying to get back in and plug the hole that's quickly been taken. 14 seconds to go. There's real potential to this. Spam in the right direction, and he can really make a round out of it, but no. Slightly off the ball, and they get back in with the guys of anonymity, and thanks to the smokes, there is really no way you're going to get them out of bathrooms right now. No utility. You can't flush them out. Crossfire set in stone, and no kits in play. Dan's no options but to go for this. Round count continuing to build against them. With that Molotov still burning embers on top of the bomb. In fact, another one bursting on top of it. He decides eventually it's time to cut it loose and hold on to the M4.
Can't even get out with it. 60's not going to allow him. Oh my lord. The preemptive drop down to Khan. There was no way that they're reading them this well. This quick, this perfect timing. He's there before the CT even knows that he wants to head in that direction, it feels like. And as 8 rounds have transpired in the favor of Party Astronauts, the buy, simply, across the board from top to bottom, is awkward for Might if they want to try to continue to put rounds onto the board. There really isn't any purpose in going fully down into a full investment, seeing as, I guess, if you want to continue to pull away with maybe 3 rounds at a 9-3 following this, you're going to need that full buy. Hope to win it out with the pistols now as the bodies are grouped up, not towards A, but towards B. Wolfie, a little bit of a hiccup. No more con control, burning himself down lower than anything else. And I didn't want to mention it before. Wolfie's been, like, dangerously close to missing that a couple of times.
What, the smoke?
The Molotov.
Okay, I was gonna say. I'm just a little more disappointed that they missed that smoke so horrendously in Fountain. Right? Like, I think Might's idea in this round was to stall them from getting this info so early on so they could work around the rest of the map, but Ben Lee was never challenged. He got this info from the get-go, and they're continuing to peek long range into an AK. Respect earned. So a step in the right direction, but just a mere stepping stone. So far, it's not grown to anything further, as it's still 5-on-4. The only thing going for them right now is the lack of time. Party Astronauts, by this time, they've usually progressed in the map a lot further, but they're kind of stuck.
A little bit. Wolfie, he has been prone to take these peeks towards topside A later on if he isn't aware of the fact that they have an off, and when he does know that they're on pistols, it's a much more easy decision to make. As they speed up, they're actually speeding up into what is going to be a wall of pistols, and hopefully, just hopefully, for Might's sake, they can get something through. All stuck towards truck. 3 at all different angles, and Ben Lee is able to find the both of them as Card doubles down with the 5-7. It'll be nothing when Wolfie is already all the way up long, and they can convert and trade effectively enough to find 9.
Those are just amazing flashes from Party Astronaut. There were 3 players, 2 of them full dabbing, and the 3rd stuck behind the truck wall. Like, Ben Leet was perfectly teed up for success there. Sure, it was around. They probably shouldn't have been losing, but you still got to admit it was a nice couple pieces of utility to send them home. And this score is only getting more and more daunting as the rounds continue to progress. I mean, at this point, kind of can't look away. It's been very disastrous. But I want to see how bad it gets.
Might have a gap in the right side of the smoke for Nifty to be able to abuse, but he's not going to be able to hit the shot. Neither will DJ. 6C quick on the trigger. Hot hands, as right now Nifty has to do something to get back into the action. Burns for his transgressions, and now is forced back up to A. We take a pause, we take a breather, but it's no reprieve for Might. Instead, it's only going to be the activation towards B. Somewhere we've barely seen PA, and they're past it.
They are past it, and they have absolutely no idea. Look at this setup right now. You know where both big players are, and there goes the Heaven player. It's all Snake stuck at pit. No help coming anytime soon. Nades, mollies, and spam. Oh my, he is on 32 health, and it's not ever going to get better. Luckily enough, that Molotov took an unfortunate bounce off of the weird clipping under Heaven. So, a saving grace bid Snakes his life. There's even a flank coming through. Nifty, nice shot as he jumps up on top of the boxes with another miss, even adding to it, but this is all set up.
Stay alive.
He looked for a second like he was gonna know, but yeah, this is the winning backstab coming through from CXEI. Nade plays well in the round will end. Nifty doesn't catch it. A chance, but not for long. Sexy rips it from them and grabs double digits before Mike can even speak on Overpass.
Flank was beautiful. A little bit of a mistiming from Wolfie at the pillar to go for the peak that he did. He needed to buy at least a few seconds for him to get into that position, and I'm glad that he did in time right after the fall. 4 kills, 6 almost killing them all. 12-3 right now on this board, just next to Ben Leet, playing more of an aggressive pack roll, 12-6. Love to see the in-game leader putting up numbers like that. As we do go into the last 2 rounds of this half, this is, I guess, the last quote-unquote full buy. It's a pseudo-full buy, if you want to call it that, with an SMG and a FAMAS and barely any utility. The bones are being picked off the bodies right now of Might, as yet again, it's Wolfie on top, and Nifty on the ground, and Chop, he wants that B site, and he just claimed that it's clean.
I mean, honestly, at this point, right, you got 2 entry kills. They might just buddy system and go in. Beat the rotations, but there has been a little bit of timing to slip, so I wouldn't be entirely shocked the Wolfie stuck around. He's not ready to get Fountain for free. He's ready for this regression to come straight through and into his welcoming arms. But wow, that is an insane amount of undetected presence. Rush in con, delete scars. So even with all these players flying under the radar, I don't think it's really going to push this boundary any further. Maybe an untimely backstab. The bomb is currently on Wolfie, but DJ's still stuck around in Fountain. Like, there's really no way you're going to see Dans go in from the flank, get 5 kills, end the round magnificently. Good kill on Rush. At least guarantees that somebody's in con. But again, it's a mission of saving Might. This has been a dumpster fire of a map.
Their eyes are glazed over right now, Might. They are looking asleep at the wheel. Wolfie, barely that. Quicker than ever, really, as it stands. Swedish-American Alper making his name heard in the kill feed as of these last few. Sniper looks good on him, and he picks up a rifle even to hunt down the final. They want to run him through. They're going to clear out every inch of this map before they get to him, and they won't have to wait all too long before they do. He's right around this bend, and as soon as Bentley pulls that AK-47, it should be the trade after Wolfie had fallen, and it will be nothing left. Everything stripped from the bodies of Might, as this game is nearing a similar fate to the last time you and I had seen them on it. Maybe even a worse one.
Eventually someone had to say it, man. I mean, you're right. And look at the guns coming into this last round, dude. Like, it just goes to show how bad this has truly looked. Couple of MP9s, a FAMAS to scrape by, no kits. This hurts. This one's gonna sting for a while if you're right, unless you can somehow change around the misfortunes now, which that's certainly a new leaf turned.
Bang.
Through and through they go, hopefully looking
Bang.
to push down a Wolfie, which, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Shame on Nifty. Sorry.
Seems like it.
I really don't mean to dig into him that much, but right now, it really is just an awkward state of affairs.
Oh, snakes, don't do it! The only help right now is the fact that Dan's is still in water, but he's gonna be cleared. Like, they're gonna check out the smoke.
Oh my
Sexy's
God.
literally staring at him. Kill comes through, but it doesn't matter. Trey's right behind him. Sight's there. Scar's on the other side of the world. This has got 12-0 written all over it. Why not?
You know, you've never seen Scar with an MP9.
I haven't. That's true.
I've seen him win these before. Oh, well.
All right.
Not this time. We're going to be going into the second half with a 1-round gap for them to win out on the first. We'll have to see who wins and get back.
things have not looked great for Might, and they've got a chance at redemption here, at least to make it not, you know, the thing that shall not be spoken. But the odds aren't in their favor with a couple of dualies on the side of Party Astronauts, though with the space and pathing they're taking, this may not be all too shabby, though. Quick on the gun to get this info. Wolvie's already come through in the flank. They know this is going to be a long pop, and Ben Lee kicks us off strongly with kill on dance.
One tap, another in as they're blind. It's going to be more than enough. His Chop has the block, and he's putting them on it. Down the size, only one left, and it's going to be the 13-0 on Overpass. What a result for Party Astronauts, and what a great way to show your utter dominance on a map that might kind of crazy on letting through.
That is a little painful to see unfold, man. I couldn't even really summarize it into words. Party Astronaut were simply put the better team. And coming in...